tonight is on planning your period effectively. I have
Your
done this one
line is
before.
now
I've
muted.
made a few little changes, but obviously, in this business, you're going to get a lot of duplication, which is what the whole business is about. You bring people in and they're not going to have seen it. There are people on the call tonight who've not seen this, so I'm going to launch into this. Okay, planning your period effectively. So why do we plan our period? For most of you, this is absolutely, second nature, and it's really obvious. But for a lot of people, it isn't as obvious as you probably might think. So why do we plan our period? We need to plan our period because we need to know what we want to earn. We need to what we want to pay ourselves. We need to know what we want our bonus to be at the end of the period. We need to know what we have to achieve. We need to know, so whether that's from a retail perspective, or whether it's how many people we need to sponsor at what kind of level their retail is supposed to be or going to be, or a combination of both. And it also helps us to plan our year as well. So we do a lot of planning. We'll project forward for the whole year. I must admit I'm getting better at that based on experience, but obviously that obviously comes. But from a period point of view, Grace and I plan our period as carefully as we can based on what we know from seasonal changes, fluctuations, and based on who's doing what in our team and so on. And we do that because we need to earn a certain level. So we do that. How many people do we need to help, and at what level do we need to help them to? And that's what we do, and it helps us plan our period effectively. Okay, this is how Grace and I plan. We work out with, firstly, what we need to know is what we need as a break-even point for us financially. Okay, what we need to earn so we don't have to dip into any savings, so we don't have to hit the credit card or whatever. We need to know that. Then we work out what the team want to achieve individually, and if we add all that up, we can then understand, firstly, from an experience point of view, we know the team whether they can hit that or not from an individual perspective, and we'll help them break that. We'll help them get to that point, and we'll help them get to that point in that period. So we'll break their period down into fours, so obviously each week, and we can plan and track accordingly. We'll do that individually on one-to-one. Then what we'll do is we'll look at our period, and if that level of team, at that level of activity, whether that's team building or retail activity, will give us what we need with our own retail activity. And then we'll also have to work out whether we need to up our own retail, whether we need to up our own activity to generate more leads, to generate more signups, to generate more people putting books out, and so on. And then what we do is we break that down into quarters. We break the plan down. We put the plan into action. We break the action down into quarters, and we track and adjust accordingly. The tracking and adjusting is very, 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 very important, because when Grace first went full time, when she came out of her job and she had to hit the 1,200 quid a month mark, we were planning on a daily basis. We had an idea of putting 200 catalogs a day out, definitely 5, sometimes 6 days a week. And you know what? If we were down on our return, so in orders, we were down on our orders at the end of day one, we would have to make up the shortfall on day 2 and put more books out to reach that level. And we would have to keep making up a shortfall on a daily basis, rather than at the end of week 2 make up a shortfall, or even at the end of week 1 make up a shortfall, because that wouldn't do, because it would have been a too big a shortfall to make up if we'd have carried on losing day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. So that's what we did. So that's really important, tracking and adjusting accordingly. And to be honest, the tracking and adjusting accordingly is no different than making a cup of tea in the morning. If you get up in the morning, you go downstairs, the kettle's full, you know where that button is. And if you miss the kettle button, or you're either drunk or there's something wrong with your motor and your muscles and so on, all that, because you might hit the wrong thing, but you watch your finger go down to that button on the kettle, and it's all exactly the same, and you move and you hit the button. It's just the same as driving down the motorway. Your steering's moving on a regular basis, left and right, to keep you on track in the same line between two white lines. It's only exactly the same, but this is on a business level, financial. So the frequency of planning, we do plan on a yearly basis. We plan on a quarterly basis. We plan on a period basis, weekly, and even daily. Okay, I've been through some of that already, but we do plan daily. Okay, how we plan. What we'll do is, based on what we've said, based on what I've discussed already, we will then put down onto a projection sheet what we want to achieve by the end of the period. So this is period 7, and I did project six new team members by the end of the period, and I projected a 24% personal sales group. Grace and I want a 21% personal sales group without our qualified, or without our gold distributors. So basically, we've got two gold distributors in the team, and we want to hit 21% without their activity. But in total, assuming none of them actually requalify at gold level, 24% in total. Grace wants to hit £2,000 of personal retail sales, and I believe she's on target for that. 3,500 pieces of activity per week, whether that be flyers, cards, shop cards, cards on cars, talking to people, that kind of thing, and it'll generate a certain amount of leads a week. I think this week I've probably generated about 30 leads. I'll have to count up, but probably generate about 30 leads. I planned on activating 3 new distributors. So the difference between an activation and a sign up is an activation is somebody who's placed their first order, basically. So I want to try and get to the level where I'm activating 1 person a week. That's what I'm trying to work up to. And I did project based on everyone's plans of a £15,000 team bulk sales turnover. I actually, as the period's gone on, that's going to be probably closer to 11. What also is not on there, we are looking at, we planned on a £4,000 of new business this period. Might not quite hit that, maybe 2.5 to 3, but I don't think we'll quite hit £4,000. The reason we wanted £4,000 of new business sales is because we wanted to shave 10 positions off the new business sales league table. So we would then only have 2 periods left to knock another 10 positions off to qualify for Venice. And that's where we were. Not sure whether we'll do that. In my honest opinion, on what we're doing now, I don't think we'll qualify for Venice, but I think we'll be very, very close. We'll have to assess it again at the end of this period, and then we've got 8 weeks, 2 periods to really go for it, all guns blazing. So we'll see how that ends up. But I hope that sheet makes sense to you, and we do one of those every single period. Okay, I've just put one timesheet up here, one time planner, and this is one of Grace's time planners. Most of my, well, all my time planners look pretty much identical. They've got on Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, got a big chunk of the day, which is work plus whatever I can get away with while I'm at work. So I might make some calls. I might go out at lunchtime doing some activity cards, speaking to people in the village or whatever. Doing some hot pockets on the scooter, but most of my weeks look very, very similar. Grace has got a lot of ironing catching up to do there, you can see that. But on a Friday, she's done personal development and goals. She's doing her run there. Then she's obviously got a shower factored in, time with the boys, preschool, and then admin work, deliveries, check and build an order, time with the boys after school, deliveries, and then Grace is going out. And I spent the evening with the kids watching a film, and we had a pizza and had a beer. So, that was our Friday. Saturday was very straightforward. Grace spent some time with the boys, did some deliveries, went to school fair because she was doing a bit there, did some deliveries, spent time with the boys, and then doing some more deliveries, and then ironing Saturday night. Myself, I went out working most of the day, doing some activity, lead generation activity, and I did the same on a Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon we had time as a family, did a few deliveries, but the rest of the week you can see there, and that it's really important to get that to a fine art, because you will start to realize how much time you do actually waste. And even if it's like an hour in front of the TV where you're not scheduled to spend an hour in front of the TV that week, we've all got, I think it's 168 hours a week, and we all spend, X amount of time sleeping, usually 56 hours or so, washing, cooking, that kind of stuff. And it's important to recognize how you spend your time. Not necessarily in the early days be that meticulous and that structured, but obviously the sooner you get to that, the easier it is to run your business. But when you get to the point where you're recognizing what you're spending your time on, or where you're spending your time, and how you are wasting your time, then you can realize how you can actually find pockets of time for areas of growth, like lead generating, talking to people on the phone, and so on and so on. So that kind of thing is really, really important. This is a weekly activity tracker. Apologies, it's a bit blurred. But I tried to put this week's on, and it was worse. So this one was for period 5, week 1. And down the left-hand column there, you'll see different types of activity. So it'll say, and I'll just read you some of the activities there. It's got warm market is the first one, 3-foot rule, wanteds, car sign, DVDs to customers, shop cards, cards on cars, hot pockets, cards given out, online adverts, flyers, other, and total. And then in your columns across the top, you have planned and then actual in the next column. The next column says leads expected. The fourth column along says leads actual. Fifth column along says appointments made. Sixth column along says appointments seen, and the seventh is sign-ups. And then you can put a list of your leads down there. The reason I didn't put a list of leads on there is because, well, if you're going to start showing your leads off to people, anyone could be speaking to the same leads I'm speaking to, especially if they come off Facebook or anything else. So that's why they're not on there. But the flyers, which is 3 rows from the bottom, it says 2,500 flyers there, and leads expected 10. Well, the cards we're using now, we're producing 1 lead every 100 approximately. We're getting very, very good results from. So just to keep you informed there. Okay, this is a 90-day planner that we started to do, and we're even monitoring zeros on there. Mine is nearly finished for the 90 days, only I do need to change it. So once it is finished, I'll be looking at changing it and tweaking it slightly. But in the column there, you've got obviously the days numbered from 1 to 7, then total, and then 8 to 14, and then total, and so on over 90 days. And then I've got columns, which is number of flyers we do per day, and then that is retail activity, wanteds, 3-foot rules, and so on and so on. I've changed the second column to cards on cars for me, and I've changed the wanteds for something else, because I actually don't do wanteds, because I don't do catalogs, because Grace does them. So there's no point in me having wanteds as well. But it's the point of that is to monitor what you're not doing as well as what you are doing, because you can see what you're not doing, and you can see all the zeros on there, and you can change them. Either find an activity that you can do and you can fit into your daily routine, or do some of that activity and shuffle your day around. So that's quite important as well. And over the 90 days, it does see our check go up. It does see our number active wide go up, and so on. So it has made a great influence and an impact on our business as well. Okay. A good thing to have, this is our goal board. Anyone who's been over to the house has probably seen this in our kitchen. From the last time I did this webinar, there was probably about 4 or 5 pictures on there. And as time goes on, extra things go on the goal board. You'll see at the top there on the right hand side, it says no credit card debts, July 14. Not met that one. That one's been extended, I'll be honest with you. But there is a few things on there that we are well on the way for. It says on the bottom, in the middle, it says bronze executive. We're well on the way for that. On the left, third picture down, it says 10 active wide. We're well on the way for that. We should be about 8 or 9 this period. So we're trying to grow up to 20 active wide. 20 active wide at 500 points each. That's my goal. But 10 active wide, we should be there or thereabouts in a month or two. So that's quite exciting. So come January, we should be recognised on stage at 10 active wide, which is great because it's something we've never done, something we've never achieved since the company started recognising it. And we can show people how we've done it, obviously, because once somebody's done something like that, it's just a case of duplicating it and showing people what you've done. Okay. It says there on the left, scooter paid off. Yeah, nearly paid that off. I've got a couple of years left on it, but I would have actually nearly paid it off early. So that's nearly done as well. So things on there are coming into fruition. Venice, we're actually close to qualifying for that. So, you know, there are things on there coming to fruition. And due to the 90-day plan, the 90-day planner, it's actually getting better because we're planning every day what we're doing, and we're monitoring every day what we're doing, I should say, and we know where to change it and where to get better. So it's working a treat. So the next 90-day plan should see a big difference in that. So I'm going to share that with you over the next 90 days when I start to do it, and middle and sort of when I'm finished. I will put it on the Facebook group as well. So I'm quite excited to see that. Okay. The people that are moving the businesses forward are the ones that are sending us their plans regularly or discussing their plans regularly. Planning does make a difference, and that's a fact. But there's one thing a plan doesn't do for you, and that's actually do the work. So there's one thing you need to do on top of your plan, and that's action. Massive action with your plan as well. And if that doesn't work, you need to rejig your plan, have a look at your plan, and do more action. You can't plow a field simply by turning it over in your mind. It just will not work. You've actually got to get off your butt and fix the problem. Do something about it. As Nike would say, just do it. Thanks, guys. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up for a bit of question and answer. If anyone's got any questions, if anyone wants to discuss anything, feel free. I'm just going to the meeting here, discussion mode. So you can all flick your mics off if you want, and
your line is now unmuted.
Feel free. Anyone?
Which cards are you using, Nick?
Which what? Sorry.
Cards.
The ones I've put the ones I've put on the group. I've put two different types on the group, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay. You're very welcome, Hazel. What I've done is I'm using the ones that are non-job specific. I'm using those for putting on cards. I'm using those for hot pockets, okay, and giving out to people in the street. So 3-foot rules. But the ones that are catalog specific, at the moment, I'm just posting through houses. Right. So I've got more going out because of the nature of the activity, but you would expect more results. But I'm doing quite a bit of activity.
Your line is now muted.
And I'm still getting one lead every 100, roughly, maybe more, with the cards through doors. And I wasn't getting that through the non-branded ones, or I wasn't getting that through, sorry, not non-branded, non-job specific. I wasn't getting that quantity of leads through the non-job specific ones. So the ones that just say earn 50 to £500 a week